Hi, my name is Helen. And yes, I am a woman. Welcome to my podcast, a podcast with scary stories I have written. But I have chosen to record it with an AI voice, and if you ever heard mine, you know why. Are you ready? I hope you locked your doors, checked under your bed, and turned the lights off. Because now it's time for frightful fiction. Do you dare to listen? Emmy takes a step back. She feels how the panic spreads through her body like wildfire. She shines her flashlight on the torn tent, her heart pounding louder with each passing second. The beam reveals dark stains that resemble blood, sending a chill down her spine. William, Dennis, are you okay? Emmy called out, her voice trembling with fear. There is no response from her brothers. Emmy's worry intensifies, her mind racing with terrible possibilities. William, Dennis, wake up, for God's sake, she urged, her voice growing more desperate. Only silence greets her from the tent. She takes a deep breath and peeks inside, her hands shaking. William, Dennis, hello. She tried again. After a moment that feels like an eternity, she hears a grumble from within. What is it? Mumbled a newly awakened Dennis, his voice thick with sleep. Are you okay? Are you alive? Emmy asked. Yes, of course we are. Dennis replied, somewhat confused. Just come out. You need to see this, Emmy said. Their commotion attracts the attention from the rest of the group. Yolanda emerges from her tent, wearing a purple onesie and her unbuttoned jacket. It looks cold, Emmy thinks. Emmy, what's going on? Yolanda asked. Come here and see for yourself. My tent, it's torn. Emmy replied. What do you mean, torn? Yolanda said, lowering her eyebrows in disbelief. Just come and look for yourself, Emmy responded. Yolanda walks over to her. William and Dennis crawl out of their tent. What the hell, Emmy, what did you do? Dennis asked. What do you mean, what did I do? I didn't do anything, Emmy retorted. It's completely ripped, torn apart, Dennis said, as he observes the tent. Sandra and Peter join the group, standing next to each other on the opposite side of Emmy. Benny calls out for Jonathan, who meets Emmy's gaze and nods at her before heading to his tent. When did this happen? William asked, and he is glaring at her. I don't know exactly when, but I think Emmy started, but gets interrupted. How are you able to sleep like that? The hole is huge, and you're so afraid of bugs. William exclaimed. It wasn't like this last night, at least, I don't think so. It must have happened recently. I heard an animal, and when I went toward the tent, toward the sound, the animal ran off into the woods. Emmy said, looking down. What? What do you mean you went toward the tent? William said, his face a mix of confusion and concern. Were you not in the tent? No, I was walking outside, Emmy explained, her eyes darting nervously. Then I heard something tearing at the tent. I shone my flashlight and saw an animal, maybe a wolf. It stood on two legs for a moment, but then it bolted into the woods. Jonathan saw it too, she said. Why were you outside the tent so early? William asked, his brow furrowing. Emmy glances around, feeling the weight of the group's gaze. They're all watching her, their faces a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. She hesitates, reluctant to reveal the full story. She's on the edge of admitting she slept elsewhere, but the thought of saying it out loud makes her uncomfortable. She's not sure if she's ready to be so vulnerable, even though she's tired of keeping secrets. Because she didn't sleep in her tent, Sandra interjected. Thanks again, Emmy thinks to herself. Your police instincts saved me from having to be the one who said it out loud. Exactly, I slept in Jonathan's tent. It's bigger, and one of you two idiots left the tent door open, Emmy said, her tone irritated. No, I closed it. I'm 100% sure. The zipper got stuck, so I asked William for help, Dennis replied, his irritation matching hers. That's right, it was really stuck, so we spent some time fixing it before we could close it. William confirmed. Okay, but it was open when I got here last night, asked Jonathan. He saw it too, and he kindly offered me to sleep in his tent, but earlier, when we went to pee, we heard something by my tent, and when I shone the light, I saw a wolf, or whatever it was. It looked strange, and it ran into the woods. Emmy said. William looks at her, shaking his head. Okay, the wolf probably smelled your snacks, and broke into your tent, hoping to find food, William suggested. No, Jonathan and I ate all the snacks last night, by the fire, Emmy replied. But maybe you spilled something near the tent that attracted the wolf. He proposed. Oh my God, Emmy thinks to herself. She had thrown away that gross vegetarian burger yesterday. What if that attracted the wolf? It makes sense. Emmy feels ashamed. She usually doesn't litter, but she couldn't handle more drama yesterday. And William would have been even angrier if he knew she planned to throw away her burger to make a new, better one last night. And the trash bag the group used was situated close to the fire pit. Everyone would have seen if she threw away the burger there, so she had put it in a small plastic bag and tossed it into the woods. It's not our trash that attracted the wolf. I tied up the bag last night and put it in a small shed, Yolanda said. Dennis glances at his sister, takes a deep breath. He hesitates before speaking. Emmy, don't take this the wrong way, but, are you on your period? Dennis asked, his voice tinged with nervousness. Emmy's face flushes with shock and embarrassment. What? No, I'm not. Oh my God, Dennis, why would you even ask that? She replied, mortified by both the question and the stares from everyone around them. You've been moody, and not yourself, and I thought the wolf might have smelled it, if that was the case. Dennis said, squirming. I'm not moodier than usual, Emmy said, her voice tight with frustration. And sure, some women might get moody before their period. Not during. But I am neither on my period, nor about to have it. But I might have spilled something earlier while watching a movie and eating snacks in the tent. But can we please drop this? She said. He is really trying to put the blame on the victim here, Emmy thinks bitterly. Her tent gets wrecked by a bloodthirsty beast that probably intended to eat her, and now it's somehow her fault. If she's not attracting a dangerous animal with her period, it must be because she's clumsy and spilled food. She is going to let them think that, because they don't know she threw away her burger, and she'll never admit it, not after all this chaos. Emmy shines her flashlight on the torn tent, her gaze shifting between the dark stains and the ripped fabric. Squatting down to get a better look, she studies the blood on the tent. There's blood on the tent. Could the wolf be injured? She mused aloud. But something doesn't add up. She inspects the stains more closely, her flashlight casting eerie shadows. A sudden realization hits her. Wait a minute, the blood is smeared from the inside. It looks like the animal was inside the tent and it tore through it. It was bleeding while trying to get out. The wolf didn't break in, it broke out. A bird calls from the forest, scaring her. Sandra walks over and stands next to her. Yeah, you're right. How strange. If the wolf was attracted here by something, it might explain why it tore the tent from the outside. And if it was injured, that would explain the blood. But the blood being on the inside means the animal tore its way out, just like you said. Sandra's voice is neutral. The sun is starting to win the battle against the night, but flashlights are still necessary to illuminate the residual darkness. Marty comes over and stands beside Yolanda. His oversized gray jacket nearly swallows him. Are you having a party without me? Marty jokingly said. No one responds. The group stands in uneasy silence, the weight of the situation settling over them. Jonathan steps closer, his presence a reassuring anchor in the midst of the tension. Emmy glances at him, her gaze filled with a mix of longing and exhaustion. In that moment, she wishes more than anything to be home, with him. They had exchanged numbers and planned for him to visit her next weekend, a small beacon of normalcy and comfort in the chaos. But right now, all she can think about is curling up at home, watching a good movie, and enjoying popcorn with him. The thought of their weekend plans offers a fleeting solace, yet it feels painfully distant. Both of them are bound by work commitments, and she can only dream of escaping to that simple pleasure until their schedules align. Jonathan stands behind her, his silhouette casting a long shadow in the dim light of Yolanda's flashlight. Have you figured out anything about the torn tent? He asked. Emmy examines the shredded fabric more closely, her mind piecing together the chaotic scene. The wolf must have entered through the open door, she began, her tone steadying as she speaks. Neither of my brothers claims to have left it open, but it was definitely open. She glances at Jonathan, frustration evident in her eyes. When the wolf heard us, it must have panicked. In its desperate attempt to escape, it clawed and ripped its way out, leaving a trail of blood on the inside of the tent. As she speaks, she shines her flashlight over the jagged tears and the dark smears of blood, trying to visualize the animal's frantic escape. So the wolf didn't break in to attack me, she concluded. It was already inside when the chaos started, and it got injured while trying to escape. She said, Wow, it's a good thing you weren't sleeping there. Imagine waking up to a bloody wolf in your bedroom, Jonathan said. Her bedroom. Emmy flinches and shines her light into the tent, focusing on her bedroom door. Wait a minute, It's one thing for the outer tent door to be open. I didn't close it when I went to sleep in Jonathan's tent because I was so annoyed with you, William and Dennis. So, the wolf could have entered there. But my bedroom door, it's intact and closed. How did the wolf get into my bedroom? Emmy asked. What the hell? Leaving the tent open on purpose is so mean of you. We would never do that to you. And it wasn't even us who left it open in the first place. Dennis protested. Sorry. I was tired and irritated. It was unfair of me. Maybe I've been unnecessarily grumpy this trip. I hate forest hikes, but regardless of who left the outer door open, look at my bedroom door, Emmy insisted. Sandra pokes her head into the tent, taking the situation seriously. Good, Emmy thinks. So she doesn't have to be the lone conspiracy theorist in the group. This is very strange. How did the wolf get into your bedroom? It could easily enter the tent's vestibule since the outer door was open. But how did it get into your bedroom and then close the door again? A wolf can't open or close a tent door, Sandra said. No, not a wolf, but a human could have done this, Emmy said, her eyes narrowing as she looks at Marty. He had arrived at the tent later than everyone else. Could Marty have sneaked into her tent, waited for her, and then, panicking when he heard her and Jonathan, torn his way out to escape into the forest? If Marty had used the outer door, they would have seen him clearly in his large gray jacket, Emmy thinks, piecing together the clues. That must be why he escaped through the tent's bedroom wall instead. In the darkness, his silhouette might be mistaken for a wolf. Her flashlight cuts a narrow beam through the darkness as she scans Marty, searching for any evidence of blood or an injury. She examines his clothes and hands with a growing sense of urgency, hoping to find a trace that might explain the blood. Her thoughts race with the unsettling possibility that someone from their own group could be responsible for the chaos they've faced. The notion that the danger might have come from within, rather than from an external threat, sends a shiver down her spine. Why are you shining your light on me? Marty asked. I'm looking for blood, Emmy replied bluntly. What? Blood? Why? Marty said, puzzled. Obviously, she thinks it was you in her bedroom and now she wants to see if you have blood on you, to support her crazy theory. Now, I'm not saying it was you, because I know you and I know you would never do such a thing. But I can't give you an alibi for the night. I fell asleep before you did, and I woke up alone, but you were probably using the bathroom, right? Yolanda said. Marty closes his eyes and nods. Yeah, of course. Why would I have been in what's her name's tent, he stammered. Her name is Emmy. You've never forgotten a name before, which is a useful skill when you lead group after group on these spiritual journeys. Are you getting sick or something? Yolanda asked. Marty does look worn out, Emmy thinks. Sandra picks up a flashlight and shines it on Yolanda. That's a good idea. To rule out anyone from our group, let's check everyone for blood, Sandra suggested. I'll get Benny and you can shine the light on him too. He needs to get up anyway. But he'll have his headphones on, so he won't hear us talking about wolves and blood, Jonathan said, heading to his tent. Sandra meticulously shines her light on Yolanda, then turns to William, who steps back but lets her continue. Dennis starts to shine the light on himself, but Sandra insists on doing it. Emmy watches Sandra, realizing it's time to shine the light on Peter. She, being impartial, should do it. Sandra nods as if reading Emmy's thoughts. Emmy checks Peter, no blood. Jonathan and Benny comes and goes through the same process. Finally, Emmy and Sandra shine the lights on each other, confirming they're all clear. None of us have blood on us, and I assume no one had a spare set of identical outer clothes to change into, Sandra stated. Well, that's a relief. Let's have breakfast and then pack up. I thought we could drink the herbal brew during breakfast to activate the protection, Yolanda suggested. Emmy considers that maybe it wasn't Marty after all. Perhaps it was a wolf. But, like everything else on this trip, something doesn't quite add up. The group heads toward the fire pit. What do you make of all this? Jonathan asked Emmy. Honestly, I'm close to giving up on finding a logical explanation and giving in to all the monsters and other beings from the other side, Emmy admitted. I know what you mean. Everything that's happened is crazy. But hey, now that the tent is destroyed, you have an excuse to buy that tent you always talked about, the one you can stand up in. Jonathan joked. Yeah, my life's dream. How sweet of you to remember that. Emmy smiles. Jonathan wraps his arm around her, and she leans into him. But seriously, how did the wolf, or whatever it was, get into my bedroom? Emmy asked. I don't know. Maybe one of your brothers opened your section, looking for something or just to mess with you. Or maybe you forgot to close it. Jonathan suggested. Yeah, maybe. Emmy sighs. But if she or one of her brothers had opened her bedroom section, who closed it when the wolf was inside? Emmy decides not to dwell on it, it's too creepy. Emmy and Jonathan walk to the fire pit. There are cheese tubes, bread, and the smell of coffee. Small bottles are lined up on one of the logs. It must be the herbal brew. So, now we're all gathered. Great! It's time to drink the herbal brew. It's very important that everyone drinks it all. We can't take any risks, considering, well, that Emmy and Jonathan left the trail, and Emmy responded to the whistle. So, don't be shy, grab a bottle, Yolanda instructed. Everyone takes a bottle and opens it. Emmy sniffs hers. It smells like tea mixed with marijuana. Can you drive after drinking this? Emmy asked. Of course. I didn't put any alcohol in it if that's what you're thinking, Yolanda responded. No, it wasn't alcohol I suspected you spiked it with, Emmy blurted out. You don't seriously think I would drug you, do you? Yolanda exclaimed. Hearing Yolanda say it out loud makes Emmy realize how paranoid her suspicion sounds. Obviously, Yolanda wouldn't drug them, especially with a police officer in the group. That wouldn't end well for Yolanda. Jonathan sits next to Emmy. I think it smells like marijuana too. Shall we drink on 3? The worst that can happen is we get a little high, Jonathan joked. Okay, Emmy agreed. They both drink. It tastes good, but Emmy doesn't want to admit that to Yolanda, so she makes a childish face, pretending it tastes bad. Now, eat some sandwiches and drink some coffee. Then it's time to pack up and head back to the cars, Yolanda said. The group packed up their tents in gloomy silence. Emmy had never packed so quickly in her life. She just wanted to go home. She shoved everything into her bag, hoping she wouldn't forget anything, unable to muster the energy for her usual meticulous double-check. As they walked back along the trail, Yolanda became annoyed with Marty. She had let him take the lead, and he had mistaken the location of the second hotspot. Even Emmy could see where it was, as the forest was much less dense there. Marty, who had done this hike countless times, seemed disoriented. Yolanda repeatedly said, I don't recognize you, Marty, which Emmy found amusing. It is so classic for couples who had been together too long to say, I don't recognize you. It's called growth, Yolanda, Emmy thought. People change, and couples either grow together or they grow apart. Emmy is pulled from her thoughts by Benny. Hey, Emmy, what do you do for work? I drive a forklift in a warehouse, Emmy replied. What's a forklift? Is it a truck? Benny asked. No, it's not like a truck, it's a machine that lifts things. Emmy explained. But trucks carry things, right? Benny asked. Yes, a truck can carry things, a forklift too. But a forklift can also lift things. A truck only transport. Emmy said. Oh, so you drive a truck that can lift things, Benny said with a smile. Jonathan puts his hand on Benny's shoulder. Exactly. Emmy drives a truck, Jonathan said. Okay, Emmy thinks, so I drive a truck. No point in arguing about details with him. Benny moves on to the next person. Hey, Peter, what do you do for work? He asked. I was a priest, Peter answered, looking down. Okay, you were a priest, but what do you do for work? I'm gluten intolerant, but I can't work as that, you know, Benny said. Yes, exactly, but I used to work as a priest, Peter clarified. Aha, you were a priest and now you work as a priest. Got it, good for you, Benny said, moving on without listening to Peter's protests. Emmy wonders if Peter stopped being a priest because his son died. Losing a child would shake anyone's faith in God. You have to let me tag along in the truck sometime, Jonathan said with a grin. You do know I'm not a truck driver, right? And you probably wouldn't fit on the forklift unless I carry you on the forks, which is not allowed, Emmy responded, rolling her eyes. I know, I was just joking, but there's something you might not know. When dealing with people with special needs, there's a saying, pick your fights. It means only confront them about things that really matter, otherwise, you end up constantly arguing. But with Benny, it's more effective to choose what you actually explain. It doesn't matter if he thinks you drive a truck. Nothing bad will come of it. I explain the important stuff to him, like why he can't cross the street just anywhere or why fire is dangerous, Jonathan explained. Yeah, I've started to notice that it's not worth arguing with him over little things. "You're a good brother, adapting like that," Emmy said. "They should be reaching the cars soon. It feels like they've been walking forever." Emmy longs to sit in the car, turn the heat up, and go home. But she doesn't want to part from Jonathan. She feels conflicted, wanting to go home but also wanting to stay with him. Emmy's phone starts making sounds. Once, twice, 3 times, multiple notifications. Great, service is back, but why all the notifications? She pulls out her phone and sees several messages on the screen. She opens a group chat with friends from the party she and Ricky had fled from. There's an overwhelming number of messages. She scrolls up to find the first unread message and sees the picture. The idiot Lucas had sent it. He shared the photo of her and Ricky with the group. Emmy schemes through the messages beneath the photo. Her friends are having a great laugh about her and Ricky finally hooking up, joking about the new couple going on a trip together, which isn't true. Emmy went to the woods, and Ricky left the country. The chat's tone is incredibly low, even for her friends. Emmy had managed not to think about what happened last weekend, her and Ricky sleeping together and idiot Lucas taking a picture of them. Ricky had accused Emmy of being in on the prank, claiming she asked Lucas to take the picture, which led to Emmy stopping all communication with Ricky. How could he believe Emmy would ask Lucas to stand by and take a picture while she seduced him? As if Emmy would want to show her naked body in a photo. She doesn't even like being seen in a bikini on the beach. Ricky hasn't read any of it yet, Emmy notices, but everyone else has. Thankfully, her brothers aren't in the chat, but Linda, William's partner, is, because she's wormed her way into Emmy's friend group. Emmy takes a deep breath, staring at the picture. She decides she won't let this bother her anymore. So what if she and Ricky slept together? So what if there's photographic evidence of her mistake being shared among their friends? Because it was hers, the mistake. She kissed him first, knowing he had feelings for her. But so what if things are awkward for a while? About a month ago, Ricky confessed his feelings for Emmy, but she told him she just wanted to be friends. Then, she got too drunk last week and kissed him, which led to more, only to tell him again afterward that she just wanted to be friends. That's when Ricky accused her of being in on the prank, which she absolutely wasn't. But Emmy is certain she and Ricky will find their way back to their friendship. All the things that have been bothering her don't seem as important anymore. "I see the cars," Dennis announced. Emmy looks up. Finally, William walks ahead to his car, with Emmy close behind. "What the hell?" William yelled. Emmy runs to him to see what's wrong. She looks down at one of the tires. It's deflated. A knife is stuck in the tire. And it's Emmy's knife.